If you study President William Ruto's politics today, you will realize that everything that he says, every movement that he makes, every action that he takes is meant to ensure that he gets re-elected in 2027. If you open his mind today, what is causing William Ruto's sleepless night is how William Ruto can be re-elected in 2027. If you listen to maybe meetings where the NIS would gather to talk, the deep state, there is only one thing that is bothering them: how to make sure that William Ruto is re-elected. And this is because William Ruto is looking at a very difficult moment ahead of him. Kenyans are rebelling, leaders are rebelling, and William Ruto's one wish, if God would grant him an opportunity to whisper a prayer that he wants God to grant, that would only be how to get re-elected. Of recent, we have seen how William Ruto has gone back to the church. He's now donating money and is now talking to them in a manner trying to seduce them, the same thing that he did in 2022. And one of the things that William Ruto is doing, he has developed a reconciliatory tone and is now telling the church, thank you for praying for us. I don't know, we want you to correct us. That is the message that has begun. And it's a message that will run. It is the gospel that will run up to 2022.
Mimi nimefika hapa leo kuwaambia kwamba tunashukuru vile mnatuombea, praying for the government, because the Bible says there is no authority except that which comes from God. And to say that is not to say that you must not correct us when we go astray. Please correct us. What we plead for is that you correct us in love. Yes, don't talk to us. Don't talk to us as if over and above the correction you have other issues. Your role should be to correct us and bring us back. So correct us in love. And we are listening, government. We will listen. We will adjust where we are not doing well, and your input suggests that we do it differently. We will incorporate your views. We have seen a little bit of tension sometimes between the government and faith groups and churches, and it is not right for a country, because there is no contest between the king and the prophets. There is no contest. Those two offices are different offices. The office of the king and the office of the prophet are two separate offices, but complementary to one another. They are not in competition. And that is why all the wise kings, no king will go to war unless he consults the prophets. Isn't it?
Of course, up to 2027. Now, one man has been watching very closely what William Ruto is doing, and that is Archbishop Anyolo of the Catholic Church, who is now telling William Ruto that we will not allow you, you don't deserve a second chance. And he's saying that William Ruto has killed the opposition, that they are in a toxic relationship with Raila Amolo Odinga, that they have usurped the powers of the opposition and they have rendered the opposition useless. And it's now saying that despite the fact that William Ruto is stealthily going back to the church, William Ruto needs to be rejected, and is saying that the opposition must take up its role.
Mtazamaji, na askofu mkuu wa kanisa la Katoliki Philip Anyolo amewasuta Rais William Ruto na kiongozi wa ODM Raila Odinga kwa kushirikiana kuvunja upinzani. Anyolo amesema demokrasia haiwezi kustawi mahala ambapo hakuna upinzani, akisema ni kazi ya upinzani kukosoa serikali na kazi ya serikali kutoa huduma kwa wananchi wake.
The opposition should take their role. That's how democracy grows. You take their role and do it very genuinely and honestly. Politics should be an honest game. It's not just a gimmick. Politicians you need very honestly to see and criticize what the government should be doing as wrong, on the wrong path towards helping the people. And the government also should do the right things to help the people of God grow. Because if they are hungry, as I mentioned, they are hungry. It's part of the human life. And if they are hungry, they will protest. They are hungry, maybe in mind, maybe in heart or in thought, they will protest. We feed the spirit, and we try also to feed even the body. And that should be the politics. They should do the same thing. Yeah. There's not, you don't go to politics because you want to fight and show that you are greater than the other. No, you don't go there because you want to help the humanity to grow. It is a stewardship. Politics is a stewardship that is a tool of stewardship that is given to a country, given to the people, certain people, to help everybody grow together. Christ was a politician in that manner.
Now, if you have studied of late, you'll realize that the government has become so intolerant to criticism. I want you to watch this clip here, where some group calling themselves professionals from Nyanza decided to call for a press conference just to attack Governor James Orengo and Edwin Sifuna for confronting William Ruto with the truth that the government needs to embrace democracy as is entrenched in the constitution. They do not want anyone who questions William Ruto, all in the name of they are in the broad-based government and the opposition has been killed.
Solicited and unwarranted utterances by ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, particularly when in Nyanza, must stop, because it only portrays a man who is in a mission to disintegrate the Luo community and disentangle the Luo community with the national government and its leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, by telling Governor Orengo that, Governor Orengo, you behaved badly. You embarrassed us and you embarrassed our leaders. You embarrassed Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga at his lowest moment, when a friend had come to mourn with him. You embarrassed the President of the Republic of Kenya, whom as a community we recognize and we respect. We demand that you apologize to Right Honorable Raila Odinga and to the President. And on our behalf, as the Ramogi Professional Caucus, as a caucus of professionals from the region, we tender our sincere apology to Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and to the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Ruto, for the embarrassment that the governor occasioned during the burial of our friend and brother, George Oduor. Thank you. We will invite...
Not only that, apart from being very allergic to the criticism, there is, if you listen to the tone, the government is very angry. Some of the Ruto allies, you'd feel that they can kill if William Ruto, if they are faced with the reality that William Ruto is not going to be re-elected. Listen to Senator Cheruiyot and tell me whether, if you get people like Cheruiyot, if there are 10 of them, let's say 10 Kalenjins are there with William Samoei Ruto, and they are with the Murkomen, and they are with Oscar Sudi, tell me what they would decide to do if they realize that William, if let's say the NIS gives them a report that, William Ruto is not going to be re-elected. With the tone, tell me, ladies and gentlemen, whether these are people who can tell William Ruto, enyewe kumeshindikana, wachana nayo.
What I'm reading in the media, that's not journalism anymore. Ile vitu ambaye tunaona kwa magazeti, that is not journalism anymore. It is as if all the rules have been suspended. And I want to appeal to the country that there will be another president after William Ruto. That the institution of the presidency is not just about William Ruto alone. This is a seat that is sacred to the country. Let us have limits ya ile maneno ambaye unaweza kusema kuhusu yule ambaye amekalia kiti. Sababu a president is a symbol of national unity. You cannot reduce and make that position to be about ridicule just simply because you hate the person that is occupying. What about the country called Kenya?
And of course, you understand that just a few days ago, they told William Ruto that this Ruto must go song is only emanating from Mount Kenya. The other parts of the country are okay. They love William Ruto. They don't have a problem. And they are doing this because, according to them, the only opposition leader who matters, who must speak, is Raila Odinga. Once they went for a handshake, they now assume that everyone is okay. They even assume from where they are that every person from Luoland will vote William Ruto come 2027. But that is not the reality. Because if you listen to many people, they are saying, we will only vote for William Ruto if we are convinced that he has done just enough as far as the promises that he gave to Kenyans are concerned. So this is a big blow to William Samoei Ruto, because on one hand, William Ruto is trying to woo back the church to himself after a very toxic relationship. Remember, the Catholic Church had even rejected the money. They are questioning the source of that money. But as William Ruto is going back on one hand, the other hand is telling wananchi, please don't. And you see, I believe in Kenya, the biggest church that we have in the country is the Catholic Church. And the church controls the masses. That is what he did in 2022. Now, the church this time round will not be convincing people to vote him. Rather, they will convince people to vote him out. Do you remember during the Gen Z protest, there are churches that opened up when the police was, throwing tear gas and there was a running battle between the police and the Gen Zs. They opened their doors very wide to accommodate the wananchi. And this tells you that the church is waking up. So the church is sounding a warning bell, and the church is telling Kenyans that we need to be very careful about this relationship between William Ruto and Raila Odinga, because it has killed the opposition. But I'm happy because Rigathi Gachagua has now taken the role of the opposition and is doing it very well with a lot of courage and exposing William Ruto. He's confronting him. You know, when Raila joined William Ruto, people thought this is gone. But Rigathi has taken over from where Raila left with the same energy, injecting. That's what the Kenyan language now, they are saying that Rigathi is injecting. But if you look at the assumption and the perception politics that William Ruto is playing, William Ruto is now intimidating people who are not reading from the same script as he. William Ruto has gone on top of the vehicles and is now busy promising to Tatenga. The wastage is continuing, and I'm mentioning these because these are some of the things that William Ruto had told us will be buried completely. There will be things of the past, but he has now revived them. Just because they are in this, they are strange bedfellows now together with the ODM. He's now assuming that he can do anything. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen how when he made a blunder to deny the Butere Girls Drama Club to perform their play, people rose up and they were singing, Ruto must go. And you've seen how people like Malala, once his former allies, are now confronting him and telling him, you're not a good man. All those people who worked with William Ruto are now saying, no, we know him, except that people are asking, why didn't you say all this when you're still in government? And we really need leaders who will rise up now rather than waiting after they have been kicked out, because some Kenyans would be saying this could be a personal vendetta, but we say it's better late than never, because all those who have been ejected from UDA had an option of just keeping quiet, but instead they have decided we are not going to keep quiet. People like JB Muturi, Cleopas Malala, people like the former deputy president. So it is not going to be very easy as we head 2027, because The electorate that William Ruto is dealing with today is not the one that William Ruto was winking in 2022. And William Ruto has run short of the lies once again. There will never be Mama Mbogas this time round. There will never be the hustlers. This time round, William Ruto will not say he's the chief hustler. This time round, people have seen where he has taken us. And it's not going to be very easy for him. So he's got a very difficult task ahead of us. In fact, the other name, some people are saying that the other name of the Kenya Kwanza regime is corruption. And it has been taken a notch higher. People are now stealing in terms of billions of shillings. Currently, we are hearing about the money that has been taken to the Swiss bank. And so, if you ask many, they will tell you that this coalition government or the handshake government is not helping us anymore. Instead, they are there to shield William Samoei Ruto. Those who are once fierce critics are now praising William Ruto. They're even warning those who are trying to question how the government is being run. But I love the fact that as people head to 2027, people have a date with destiny and they understand that every choice has got consequences. The only problem that we have in this country is that there are few people like the Catholic Church that will face William Ruto and tell him things are wrong. There are very few who will face Raila Odinga and tell him, you've joined the government and this is not working for us. But again, I always say one thing. Instead of reading from the book of Lamentation, instead of crying foul, what we should do now is to ensure that we have the right people. I believe in Rigathi and Kalonzo, Eugene, the Trans Nzoia governor, Natembeya, that group, Maraga, Matiang'i, all that. I believe in them because what matters is the people. If the people wake up, in fact, by now we should be sensitizing our people. They should be registered as voters, ensure that they avoid bribe, ensure that we are not divided along tribal lines. Then come 2027, people should wake up and teach these people a lesson. Do you agree with the Catholic bishop? Do you agree with Archbishop Anyolo that indeed the opposition has been killed, that this government is not in the right track, and therefore it should either change or should be rejected come 2027?